All right, welcome everybody to this city council meeting. We have quite a number of special events occurring this evening. First off, we have our new city manager here for his very first day, and he gets to come and and our interim city manager, so that it's not trial by fire, is still going to fill in as city manager in tonight's meeting and agenda. With that, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:30. Please stand for the flag.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please be seated. City Secretary, we have a quorum this evening with all city council members present. Proof of notice of meeting, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Notice of this meeting was posted by 2 p.m. on January 14th, 2020.
Okay, so we're headed to the public comment section. Keep in mind during public comments, you'll come up to the podium, state your name, your ward. You'll be given 3 minutes on the timer. And please remember, council cannot respond to you. So if you ask us a question, we're just gonna have to silent, cannot respond to you. City Secretary, are there any public comments?
First up, we do have Mary Ann Vega, Ward 3, on Mountain Country. Please.
Hey, Mary Ann, come on up. And just state your name and your ward, and you'll have 3 minutes. Hello.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Vega. I'm Director of Alpine Humane Society. I believe I'm in Ward 3, if I'm not mistaken. So I just wanted to make a few points on the new administration of the Mountain Country Christmas, which in 2025 was the Alpine Humane Society, for a 501c3 nonprofit. And I just wanted to state that the value that we brought to the organization of this event was brought about with collaboration from the city of Alpine, BDE, True Value, Alco Social, the Lions Club. So it became a true community event. And that 2 days of donated musical performances by local churches, schools, and musicians did not cost us a dime. Everything was donated. So again, community collaboration. And the venue was decorated with Christmas decor that was also donated by the community. And we did advertising on local radio, newspapers, social media, flyers, and local businesses. And we received compliments from the public and the vendors from the minute the doors opened. Several longtime vendors commented that they had never sold out before, and they were sold out before the event closed. And so I only had a couple of complaints, which were from a couple of people that were surrounding one particular vendor who was just spent the whole time complaining about it. So those were the only issues that we were told about. So we would like to have the opportunity to lead this event again. And I hope to take y'all to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. City Secretary, are there any other public comments?
Next up, we have Marilyn McGee, and she is going to be commenting on the Mountain Country event.
Marilyn, come on up. And Marilyn, please state your name, your ward, into the microphone, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Marilyn McGee. I'm not in a ward. I actually live in Fort Davis. Happen to be interim president of Alpine Humane Society, which is why I came to make a comment, just to say that this was a highly successful event this year that we did in 2025. It was, done differently than before, and as Marianne has already stated, a lot of things I was going to say, I'll just keep it short. That it was highly successful. I got lots of compliments on the event. The music, the layout, all the participation that we had, the food that we offered, things like that. So I won't keep the council any longer. She's covered most everything I was gonna say. Thank you.
Thank you. City Secretary?
And that concludes public comment.
Okay, great. All right, so we're moving on to public hearings. With public hearings, if you're here to speak on one, you'll have 3 minutes, come up to the podium, state your name, your ward. Once again, council will not be able to respond. City Secretary, I'm beginning public hearings at 5:36 p.m. Public hearing A to obtain citizen views and comments regarding the second and final reading of ordinance 2026-01-01, an ordinance establishing regulations related to the operation of golf carts, pocket bikes, and mini motorbikes within the city, providing the establishment of up to a $500 penalty per occurrence for violations of the ordinance, providing for the following findings of fact, enactment, repealer, penalty, savings, severability, proper notice, and meeting and effective date clauses. Is there anyone here to speak on this? Seeing none, I'm moving on to public hearing B to obtain citizen views and comments regarding special use permit 2026-01-01, a special use permit allowing the applicant Karen Chapman to establish a short-term rental at 401 West Sewell Ross. The property owner of record is Karen Chapman and Thomas Robertson. The parcel ID of the subject property is 35650. Is there anyone here to speak on this? Okay, seeing none, I close public hearings at 5:37 p.m. Moving on to presentations and recognitions. First this evening, we have the swearing in of Harry Arredondo as city manager by the Honorable Judge Elizabeth Lewis.
Arredondo, please go ahead and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Henry Arredondo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of
that I will faithfully execute the duties of
city manager
city manager
of the state of Texas
of the state of Texas
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
of the state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're glad you're here. Okay, next up, we have the presentation and ceremonial swearing in of the Alpine Police Department officers by Chief of Police Kurt Kopp. Come on up.
What? Attention?
Yeah, so if you'll raise your right hand. We officers of the Alpine Police Department, do solemnly swear that we will faithfully execute the duties of the office of police officer for the city of Alpine, of the state of Texas, and will do to the best of our abilities preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States. So help you God.
Squad, present arms. Squad, order arms.
Canine product.
Oh.
She's excited. Good. Canine product. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of canine police officer for the city of Alpine, of the state of Texas, and will do the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States? So help you God.
She does.
Excellent. Thank you, Prada. What this is a commitment to service. It's a public declaration and dedication to community safety. It's accountability. A promise to be bound by law and ethics, not personal bias. And it is a symbol of authority, a formal moment establishing their legal power and responsibility. Citizens of Alpine, city council, city manager, city secretary, these are the police officers, women, and canine that protect the streets 24/7, 365. Your Alpine Police Department. So,
And if y'all are able to stay in a few moments, we can celebration for all the events happening this week. Thank you. All right, Chief Kaufman and Senior Sergeant Vitani and K9 Prada, if we would come to the front, have a presentation which is to go to Marcia Gary, totally in appreciation of her donation of a ballistic vest for K9 Prada. Marcia is not well this evening, but she wanted us to proceed with the ceremony. And Sergeant Vitani is going to accept the plaque and certificate on her behalf. Okay. So we have a certificate and a plaque. The certificate of appreciation is given to Marcia Gary Hurley in grateful recognition of her generous donation of a ballistic vest for K9 Officer Prada, enhancing the safety and protection of our dedicated K9 unit. Your contribution reflects an outstanding commitment to the well-being of our officers and to the safety of the Alpine community. We extend our sincere appreciation for your support and partnership, and this is presented to her on the 20th day of January 2026. And then her plaque: with sincere gratitude, the Alpine Police Department thanks Marcia Gary Hurley for your generous donation. APD K9 Prada has been provided with an elite brand Tex 10 ballistic vest with spike package to help keep her safe. Your commitment and support is greatly appreciated. So thank you, Marcia. Good girl, Brother. Okay, so we will have cake in just a moment. We're going to finish section 5. There are no proclamations. There are some community interest items. 1 minute on the clock, City Secretary. First off, I want to mention that there are 2 grants through the American Legion to assist veterans. 1 for home improvements, windows, roofs, etc., and 1 for assistance in paying utilities. There is an income limit of $63,000 based only on the veteran's income. If this is something that you know somebody could benefit from, or if you yourself could benefit, please reach out to the American Legion. We have John Sutterfield here from the Legion, and there's many other members of the Legion that you can reach out to. Also, very important, the Emergency Medical Services Town Hall for ground ambulance. We have 3 town halls. There's one scheduled tomorrow next door in the Civic Center at 6 p.m. Please plan to attend. It's very important. We'll go over why the ground ambulance, it's up to us what we're going to do as far as continuing our ground ambulance service. Emergent is not going to continue their contract. Their contract expires in May, but they're not going to leave us high and dry as long as they see the residents of North Brewster County, the citizens, as long as they see us actively working to try to find ground ambulance coverage. And there's 3 different methods that the task force is going to lay out to the citizens. So please come to that. There's another one on Monday if you can't make tomorrow night, January 26th at Sewell Ross upstairs at the University Center. And there's a 3rd one in Marathon at the Civic Center Rec Hall at 6 p.m. So all of the meetings so far are at 6 p.m. Also note that January 31st through February 2nd is Wildlife Weekend. January 24th is the Far West Comic-Con. February 7th is Pioneer Reunion at Sewell Ross University. February 19th through 21st is Lone Star Poetry Gathering. And also I wanted to let everybody know that we now have a new rec coordinator. And our Alpine Downtown Historic District was approved by the Texas State Board of Review this past Saturday. And from here on, we're gonna work with the Texas Historical Commission to make any final edits and nomination, and it will be forwarded to the National Park Service for final review. Please note that it will likely take several months for the Texas Historic Commission to forward the nomination to the National Park Service due to the high volume of nominations they are currently handling. We'll be sure to keep tabs on the status of the nomination through final listing. Okay, so that's all good news. Thank you, City Manager. Or interim City Manager. Any announcements, interim? Okay, Mr. Arredondo? Okay. Councilmember Stevens, 1 minute on the clock.
Thanks, Mayor. I just have, quick items. These are all related to my discussion as presentation at the Commissioners Court. Follow up with council. We did talk about the, issue of large trucks on, Avenue I going out to Osceola, Lana. We're supportive. We just have to look at the details, so we'll follow up on that. So that was a good discussion. We talked about the vacant building ordinance, focusing on economic development. I understand that. We'll have good dialogue on that. I shared with them some of the discussions we've had about the city logo that we had at the last city council meeting. I also talked with the president of Sol Ross, Carlos Fernandez, about that, so he's going to help provide some input from the Sol Ross perspective. I also raised at the Commissioners Court discussion about federal legislation that council took a position to not support heavy trucks going through Alpine over what they are today. And the last item I had was I shared with them the plans relative to all of Coconut Park being historic and the value that brings to Alpine, and certainly supports all of what goes on bringing dollars into the city. My report.
Great, thank you. Hey, Councilmember Escobedo?
I just wanted to welcome the new city manager, Alpine, thank you. And,
Councilmember Lucas?
Yeah.
Councilmember Martinez? Councilmember Portillo?
Welcome, Mr. Allen.
Thank you. All right, that concludes section 5. We're gonna take a 20-minute break so everybody can congratulate the new city manager, welcome our officers to a new administration, and thank them for being here in Alpine. And then we will continue with the meeting at that point. We are adjourned in 20 minutes.
So, you did all right. Good job. Good job. Yeah.
Okay, and with that, we're moving into changes to a posted agenda items. Council, are there any items to be continued or withdrawn? Seeing none?
Mayor, we do have one, item 11C. If we can, withdraw that,
11C, okay.
and we'll bring it back to the, later meeting in February.
Okay, so I just need a motion from council.
We withdraw, nothing to see.
Okay, I need a second. Any discussion, council? Okay, let's vote on removing item 11C. Aye. City Secretary Council voted unanimously to withdraw item 11C from the agenda. Okay, are there any other items to be withdrawn? All right, moving on. Items, council, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
And I move that we, remove item 10J from the consent agenda.
Okay, so item 10J will be removed from the agenda by simple request for separate discussion. 10J, approval of fiscal year 2025-2026 first quarter investment report will be moved to separate discussion. There's number 9. Okay. Council, are there any action items to be added to the consent agenda? Seeing none. Council, are there any time sensitive items?
Mayor, I asked that, item 12A become a kind of sensitive item because they have a representative text on here. So.
Yes, we have a DPS officer here. All right, great. So that can be done by simple request. So that'll be our next item to consider. All right, City Secretary, we're moving to time sensitive items, number 7. And we're going to do action item 12A during this time. Action item 12A, interesting manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 12A is approved the second and final reading of ordinance 2026-01-01. An ordinance establishing regulations related to the operation of golf carts, pocket bikes, and mini motorbikes within the city, providing the establishment of up to a $500 penalty for occurrence for violations of the ordinance, providing for the following: findings of fact, enactment, repealer, penalty, savings, severability, proper notice of meeting, and effective date clause.
Okay, I need a motion.
Yeah, I move that, we move to approve the ordinance.
Okay, I need a second. Any discussion, council?
Yes,
Okay.
so now, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, I received a call today, from, Sheriff Dotson, recommending that we take the opportunity as council this evening, to invite, Jonathan Rutledge, who's a sergeant with the Texas, Department of Public Safety, to share with us, because he's an expert on this. So if it's okay, I'd like, Sergeant, what's coming up?
Yes,
And
please.
he is a resident of Ward 5, so
All
it's great
right.
to have him here. He's been before talking about fences, if you recall.
Don't brag, okay?
No, it's been a long time. Today is the day off, so he came in for us to do.
Thank you.
That's what I get for not taking the day off.
Yeah, thank you for taking your time, come here this evening, we
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and the big discussion, so he and I had a discussion earlier, to give a little background. The dialogue we had is all about, golf carts and be, on city streets and all that, which I think we all as a council say, right thing to go do, we need the ordinance to be able to go do that. The ordinance as written has a number of other things in there, and Jonathan's the expert, and I said, would you come educate us, because we probably want to, based upon your input, pull this ordinance back, and or table it for another workshop to continue on with the intent, but we got some things to go with. So that was the basis of the discussion. So, Jonathan, maybe you can give us kind of a rundown on kind of your experience on things like this, what looks good and what should we go think about?
Okay, well, to give y'all understanding, so you might believe what I have to say today. I've been in law enforcement for 28 years, accredited co-instructor classes from my experience. And then help us to be able to understand this. Reading the ordinance, there is nothing that will allow you to make a pocket bike a legal vehicle on highway. Let's define highway, a publicly maintained road. So any city street, any county road, any highway that the state maintains, those are all highways, so it's referred to them as a highway. cannot use a pocket bike on a highway. Can't pass an ordinance that allows it, but let someone violate state law with a pocket bike. Can pass an ordinance to allow people to operate a golf cart. They don't need to have a well thought out ordinance. Can pass an ordinance to allow people to operate off highway vehicles. Careful with that. It's an off highway vehicle. Finds anything from a three-wheeler to a side-by-side balloon. We want people on tow carts, sand rails, and three-wheelers driving around on the streets. Those are very unsafe. So if we're gonna pass that part of it, we might need to define exactly what it is we're going to let them drive. Golf cart's pretty easy. It's a well-defined vehicle. Motor vehicle. All understand these are motor vehicles. What you do with them can still be a crime. DWI is motor vehicle, no container. Quite different things in a motor vehicle, a golf cart. So if y'all pass this ordinance, I found a couple of things in here. You are charging a registration. So there is a section in the transportation code that says political subdivision cannot require somebody to register a vehicle. State of Texas already requires that. I would change that to get a permit of some kind. Because that's different.
Okay.
So there is a challenge someone could have and say, hey, you're telling me I have to pay extra. They will be required to go get a golf cart license plate. That's part of the law in transportation. They'll already have to go to the DMV. And they aren't called registration, it's just be titled license plate. We have to understand the difference between license plate, registration, and title. License plate identifies vehicle, registration is the thing used on the road. A couple other different things here. There is no seatbelt requirement in a golf cart because it doesn't meet the definition of a passenger vehicle in 545.413 where we're talking about seatbelts. So if y'all pass an ordinance, you would have to put that in. Otherwise, I could drive around with my 1-month-old granddaughter with no seatbelt, period. No violation of law. You don't want that. We want people to be able to use these, have lots of seatbelts, safe. There is a mention about nighttime use. Nighttime use is in 403 where you can already offer to use a golf cart with 5 miles of golf course, go to a golf. Can't use it at night. In 404, the section I'm trying to use here, you could, but I also agree, don't. Just put for better verbiage in here and define the nighttime use. We already have a word in transportation bill, it's half an hour after sunset. So just, in a workshop, we need to sit down and kind of tweak this to make it completely right. In transportation code, where we talk about equipment that goes on a vehicle, that's the entire chapter 547. Golf carts are not applicable to that chapter. So that means that they can do all sorts of crazy things to their golf cart if there is no regulation unless helmet. So we have to kind of, that means I can put driving lights all over it, drive however I want. Because there's nothing that says I can't. So if y'all right now, I can put red, white, and flashing lights on my golf cart, drive around. Nothing that says I can't. So we're gonna make this make it a little easier. Let's make a move. Do y'all have any questions for me? Because we could do a lot more.
Okay. If we were to have a workshop, we could attend the guidance.
Yes.
Good, because I know we have a gentleman here, also Mr. Flanders, who was wanting to know about the tricycle motorbikes, like.
Okay, so when we tricycle motorbike, there's already a motorcycle that has 3 wheels.
Electric tricycle.
An electric tricycle, so you're looking for an electric bicycle. An electric bicycle, there are 3 stages of an electric bicycle. The fastest an electric bicycle can go is 20 miles per hour. After that, it's a mini pocket bike. It's illegal.
Well, there are a couple of electric tricycles around town. It should be more of them. You know, if that's covered, those are covered by this.
No. This would only cover golf carts and off-highway vehicles as y'all define. Because I noticed that y'all put in here, y'all call it a utility vehicle, an off-highway vehicle could be a, what is it, the 4-wheeler, 3-wheelers, and then we also talk about utility vehicles and recreational vehicles. They all have, if they're in the transportation code, it's real easy for y'all to say, I want this one, and I want this one, you just put it into your ordinance, and then you go from there. But the pocket bike thing, just, it's never gonna work. It's specifically prohibited to be on any type of highway. And they're all safe. At the end of the day, we want everybody to be able to drive these things safe. What roads y'all choose. Notice that you put in a couple of highways, this one, Highway 223, the smallest state highway in the state of Texas. It's a loop. Actually, it's a state highway. So it is a small state, so we get that. But just add it in there. And then the 30 mph, the joke was earlier when I was doing the research, the state law says 35 mph. You can't operate these outside of 35, so don't pass Dollar General. Proceed one more.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but y'all did 30. I like that. I like that it's a little bit lower to keep them off some of the higher roads. Then I think as y'all pass this little education campaign, because people think that I'm in a golf cart, so that stop sign didn't exist. I'm in a golf cart, so the wrong side of the road is where I need to be. Or I can drive the wrong way on the one. See it all the time, I just drive it from marked car, so. there it is. But there's quite a bit of stuff, we can definitely sit down and go over it, I can answer more questions now if you want. But the one you were talking about, there's already regulation for motor assisted scooters, electric bicycles, they're all supposed to be treated like bicycles. They're supposed to stop at stop sign.
Aye. So Councilmember Escobedo?
Give you the information, and that's a lot of the questions that I was wondering about. And yes, because we do need, a workshop with, like you were saying, picking and choosing what we need to do. And following. Going on the wrong side of the road or whatever. else.
Well, y'all can put it in here, they're supposed to, basically, there are rules and laws. People don't follow them, especially when they get out of a car and don't realize they're still in a motor vehicle. And so they just drive it. And I think a little education, like to let people know, hey, these are some of your rights and your expectations when it comes to this ordinance here. You're gonna be allowed to drive this vehicle from here to there, but it's a car, treat it like a car. You know, and then people might understand a little.
I do like the safety goes, I think that is important.
Yes, and then think of ages too. So if there is nothing that y'all regulate in this ordinance, there's nothing to keep me from having a 2-year-old sit next to me, or a 3-year-old sit next to me and drive around. Those would be required to be in a booster seat or a safety seat if they were in a passenger vehicle, which is a cage surrounding people. Now we're gonna take away the cage and have them drive around and then fall out. So we don't want people getting hurt. And so there will be a crash. So let's try to figure out how did we help prevent it the best?
Councilmember Lucas? We love our workshops.
We really appreciate all of your opinions and concerns because this is something new for us. And the only leadership that we had was Chief Lozoya that he was trying to guide us what we can do, what can we do. And he specified that it's like a vehicle, they cannot be drinking and driving four wheels. So we knew that. We know some of the regulations that you're talking about it, but we really appreciate all the information and we need a workshop so you can update us and be more specific on the regulations. So for the good of the community. Thank you.
Have a better written ordinance. Councilmember Portillo?
Yes, so we did, with Chief Lasoya go over a bunch of the stuff, and like he said, you treat it like a motor vehicle. You know, you're gonna abide by all the laws, by the, you know, like you do driving car, truck, or whatever. So that was discussed. I don't know if it was put in the ordinance, I can't remember. Belts was discussed.
I don't see it in here for seatbelts, which means there's just no requirement for it. They're already required to have a driver's license. Y'all was just reiterating that. That's nice. Operation permitted in the streets with 30. Oh, the one part about towing a trailer, we do have a package operation golf cart, which is a lawful way for UPS or somebody to deliver packages to your golf cart. Is your ordinance gonna now prohibit that from happening? We have to figure that out. You could put in there that, you know, can't tow a trailer except for in this particular section doing this. Also, y'all are saying there's a few different things here that they're required. Is your ordinance now going to override the guy who gets to legally do it right now to go within 5 miles of the golf? Now, they're not legally doing it right now. I don't think DMV's ever gotten a golf cart license plate out of there. Maybe one. I think I saw it one time. I stopped in my tracks. I kind of couldn't believe it. Nobody gets them. And if they do the off-highway vehicle one, there's an off-highway vehicle license plate they also have to get. There's quite a few different things in there. And then you say inspection by whom?
The chief had brought it up that with, from the city, from APD.
Okay, so it'd be like a part of the permit that they would
Yeah.
get, they would get inspected by the city officers.
Yes.
That makes sense, but there is no inspection.
Mhm.
It's 3D, knows where they're going.
So I will say this, so, you know, now that we're talking about all this, I'm in the process of purchasing them, right?
Okay.
So they did ask me about the license plate and all that. I'm getting all that put on me. And then their little, inspections that they do, and it's covered within, I'm gonna get insurance put on it.
Yeah, you have to.
They all now really come with seatbelts. So they're, these golf carts, like I was telling people, they're not like what you see at a golf course anymore.
Yeah.
Because different communities are doing all this, so they kind of jumped on. So I mean, they got their turn signals, they have their seatbelts, it's like driving a vehicle, but without the enclosure. You
Yes.
know,
Oh, there-
and so that's why, when I brought this up. You know, I figured, you know, it'd be great for the community, but again, we do have to have some laws and we have to abide by them. You know, and then I get it, you know, to bring all this stuff up, because all it takes is that one person. You know, well, it wasn't an ordinance, so. You
And
know,
and they're true, so it'd be very interesting, if it doesn't exist in the law, there's not much I can do about it. So if I were to jump into my boat, and you were to, I don't have. So if I were to jump in, and you towed me down I-10, I could sit in the boat, because I'm over 18. Everybody in the world's gonna call and say, there's somebody back there pulling over. I'm sure the law that says I can't. And that's sort of what we work right? I mean, this is Texas, if it says, but there's no law that says I can't, then we've got freedom to do it. Someone's gonna do that with your order. It doesn't say I can't do it, and nothing we can do until y'all sit around and amend an ordinance. How long does that take?
so when do you think we'll have this workshop?
We would have availability if you want to do it 4 PM on March 17th is the early.
Are you available? Mary?
Let me get my phone.
I'm sorry, actually, I take that back. It's the second meeting in February, which is February 7th.
If we have any advocacy, yes. Can we get a little subcommittee together, and we'll work with them and come back before then? If he's willing to do it.
I'll be in Austin all next week teaching the transportation code, so. They're gonna come back and teach them 2 weeks, it's all off. But in between there, I'm here,
February 17th.
as long as it's after I'm teaching over at Sorrow. I teach there until 5 o'clock. What time would y'all's stuff be? I mean, I can also, I'm the teacher, I can. put everybody to work.
We usually have workshops at 4, because our
Probably
city council
that one.
meetings start at 5:30.
They gotta go do PT, so I can let them go over.
Okay.
But the 17th at 4?
Yes. Alright. 4 PM. Golf carts.
And then, well, that, I've never done one, but that should be with y'all.
Yeah, it's not famous, except it's real informal and the audience can participate more.
Yeah.
It would more than likely just be us, and
So-
you, and maybe a couple other people who decide they're interested in it.
So, I would move to amend the motion. That we table this until after such time as we have a workshop and bring it back to council.
Okay, I need a second to, okay, any discussion? Okay, let's vote on the amendment to table this until our workshop on February 17th, when we can have a discussion on how to improve the ordinance. Right?
Aye.
City Secretary Council voting unanimously for the amendment. Let's dispose of the original motion as amended. Councilman Overton.
Aye.
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 City Secretary, the original motion has been disposed of and has been amended.
And I can leave this with y'all, it is the Texas Highway Patrol's off-highway vehicle enforcement guide.
Perfect.
So tons of resources for y'all to already be thinking about some stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah. You can make copies for us or email it to us or something. Okay, great. Thank you.
And actually,
I can leave you a digital version.
Okay, sure, that'd be great. Thank you. I'll leave that in.
Because then you'll see all the hyperlinks in.
Okay, fantastic.
Oh, that's perfect.
Super.
Yes, we certainly appreciate you. Yeah, we didn't have the knowledge that we needed, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we certainly appreciate that. Thank you.
February 17th, 17th.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the consent agenda. This is item number 8 on the agenda. City Secretary.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight's consent agenda contains 9 items. Item A, approval of the January 6, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Item B, approval of the November 2025 Office of the City Secretary report. Item C, approval of the December 2025 Office of the City Secretary report. Item D, approval of the first quarter fiscal year 2026 Office of the Secretary report. Item E, approval of the appointment of Martha Munoz to the 7 position on the Building Commission. Item F, approve special use permit 2026.01.01, a special use permit on the applicant's parent Chapman to establish the short term rental at 401 West Law Ops. The property owner of record is Karen Chapman and Thomas Robinson. The parcel ID of subject property is 35650. Item G, approval of the letter of support for the 2026 Peach Texas Beautiful Affiliate Annual Recognition Gold Star Level. Item H, approval of the December 2025 invoice for Coworkers Law Firm Services. And item I, approval of determination of the stipend provided to George Calderon for interim city manager services effective January 2026.
Okay, I need a motion.
And I move where you approve to present consent agenda as to be divided.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. All right, let's vote.
Aye.
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 City Secretary Council unanimously voted to approve the consent agenda items A through I. As written. Thank you. All right. The item removed from the consent agenda is up next. That is item 10J. City Secretary, if you would read that, please.
Item 10J is approval of fiscal year 2025-2026 first quarter investment report.
Okay, Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to table this and include it in the next time city council will have a discussion about where we are on our funding, October, November, December, for a couple reasons. One, to allow the city manager to get up to speed on it, and then when he and Victoria come back, we can really have a discussion. There's a lot of great data, just phenomenal, because we've been talking about what our fund balances and all the other items. It'd be good to have all that discussion, so that's why my recommendation is to table the discussion.
You'll have a second to table.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on tabling item J? Let's vote.
Aye.
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 City Secretary Council voted unanimously to table item J in the consent agenda. Okay. All right, moving on to item number 10. We have, the first item A belongs to our interim city manager.
All right, thank you. So item 10 is outline volunteer fire department update from Chief James Etchison, and I invite Chief Etchison to come and provide that update to the city council.
Hello, welcome. We're glad to see you again.
Hi, folks. Already, hello, city manager. Couple things I uploaded to for you guys to look at. First one was the fire statistics for 25 and 24. And if you look, we had a dramatic drop in fires. We had a huge drop in these burns, the illegal burns, and that was because we've been very proactive. Not only proactive with that, but we getting certified as a prescribed burn specialist. It helped communicate a lot of these when just going insane, people just burning and just doing whatever they want to. So with these numbers, we dropped almost half. So it's the biggest one was the wildland fires, went from 24 to only 13 this year or last year. So hopefully we keep that number, if not lower. I'd be happy. I'd be very happy with that. CFS would be too happy, but we'll be happy with that. Controlled burns. We did go up in the controlled burn area. We had one, but that was before, that was pre-certification. So after I got certified, I actually championed for more controlled burns, more prescribed burn. And that actually helped us do a lot of fire breaks around the area. So that helped out. Justin. So just wanted to point that out to you, that we actually being more proactive in the community and showing our faces, it's made a difference.
It's good.
Last month, there was a few fires, nothing big.
We had a propane tank explode. Had a couple brush fires, but for some reason the brush fires would stay in the 98% humidity or blistering cold temperature, so there's nothing too crazy. We did have a motor vehicle accident on South 118th, and with the donations that we've gotten and the money that received with our new rescue equipment, we're able to get the person in and out of the vehicle that was trapped in the vehicle, in and out in less than 30 minutes. And to the hospital. So my guys are hitting it and getting it. And the training that we're getting is helping out dramatically. So we can now, holding them back, loading them, tuning cans with the jaws of life, so we're not using parts and doing a good job of it. We started doing fit test. If you're not familiar with the fit test is we're in full bunker gear on air, and you go through an obstacle course. And you go as many times as you can until you run out of air.
Sounds fun.
And a few people that are really hardcore go after they're out of air and keep on going. So, build their stamina, but we've also become a staple. So we actually have people coming from all over to do the fit test. From Terlingua, from Big Bend National Park, from, Marfa and Jeff Davis, they're coming down to do this fit test. And we're definitely leaving on well. The burn house is coming along beautifully. It's cleaned out. We're waiting for them to start construction. Once they start, then we can start doing some live burns out there. Myself and another firefighter will be going to College Station to become live fire instructors. That way we are legit, so we can actually start certifying people on live fire training and get them blessed off more on their firefighter certifications. And last but not least, I'd like to present a diploma of certification and completion to Robert Lucas. Our newest fully certified firefighter. What do we look? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Strong.
Congratulations.
I finally learned how to navigate SFMA websites and we can more people certified.
That's good.
I'll open up to questions. If anybody has any questions.
Councilmember Portillo,
Thank you.
Councilmember Martinez.
I do have a question. At what time do you rest? We're going over here on the schedule, so man. Even in December 24 and December 31st, you have the schedule activities. Is that what all the gray hair come from?
Great.
You got a lot in here. I think they just all decided to fall out.
Congratulations, you did an outstanding job. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely. Councilmember Lucas.
Appreciate you, Chief. Thanks so much for all that you do for this department, this community.
Councilmember Escobedo.
Congratulations, and thank you for everything that you do. I mean, you just give great and amazing reports, and I need to show it. Everything is out there.
Councilmember Stevens.
Any update on lifting the burn ban? Do you expect that might happen or not happen? Because I get lots of questions.
Yeah, so the burn ban, I can't touch anything within the city. The city has ordinance, so anything in the city is an automatic no. So
Okay.
nobody can burn in the city unless you decide to do something with ordinance and that's up to y'all. The county wise, I have say on it. I prefer people to call me and say, hey, I'm going to do a burn.
Yep.
That way, one, the community doesn't freak out when they see black smoke from nowhere. And call the sheriff's department, wasting a trip out there. And two, if it is gonna be a big burn, word out there so we can monitor it and make sure that it doesn't. Because I trust my firefighters over some random guy burning trash in his backyard.
So are you gonna make that more of a regular protocol then? So people really say, hey, I need to do a burn, I will call first, because my sense is people want to do the burns out here they used to, oh, there's no burn ban, I want to burn.
Yeah.
And you're trying to flip it around, it's clearly the right thing to burn.
And that's the direction that we've gone with the county. And I get calls all the time, asking for burns.
Super.
All over the county, so I do get a lot of calls for people in the city wanting to burn. I want to give kudos to APD, to one of their officers, JR. We did have a fire that was in the backyard,
He was first on scene, he saw it from the road. He was first on scene, he put out the garden hose. And, if you want to see photos, I'll show them to you later. But the fire looked like they cleaned out the barbecue pit and dumped it in a plastic barrel.
Nice.
And, I refer to it as a zombie fire because it came right back to life. And it burned his fence and it started to burn the barbecue pit. And if JR didn't put it out, when he put it out, one, we climbed over to the dry wood pile that he had right next to it. And sitting on top of the barbecue pit was a gallon of kerosene,
Oh.
a gallon of butane, and a gas can. Oh, and lighter fluid. And yeah, the bottle of kerosene was bent. It was burnt. I was like, oh, you got so lucky, dude. You got a guardian angel with that. Yeah, thanks to JR for being out there that quick and that keeping me out. So, the firefighter now.
Actually,
Thank you for what you do. I can see a difference since you have become chief. There's a great positive difference.
It's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's up there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, interim city manager, you have the next item also, item B.
Item B is Emergency Services Board update by Rusty Moore, and I invite Mr. Moore to approach the podium and give that.
Thank you, Gio, City Manager. Certainly a pleasure to meet you, Mayor, council members. Thanks for having me this evening. My name is Rusty Moore. I'm the current chairman of the Alpine Emergency Services Board. And I'm just still beaming with pride from the chief of board. I mean, who wouldn't want to support these professionals? I can assure you that it is certainly something that me and my fellow board members do, and we welcome this. We take this extremely seriously. This is really just an update. It's something that we are proud to illustrate what we're doing, how we're trying to do it, and make sure that all of you know that with a healthy respect, we are here to make sure we're responsible with the contributions that you all provide to this board. And we're grateful for the added stipend that has come in. We want to make sure that you're proud to see how that is invested in and a return on that investment. We just want you to know that we are certainly, the communications is there. It's improved immensely. I had to look back. It's the first meeting of this board. Mr. Paul Leffler, may he rest in peace, called us in on May the 4th on 2023. And when he completed illustrating what everyone was trying to accomplish, I wondered what in the world that I got myself into. It was really a terrifying illustration. And I'm so proud of the leadership of our chief, the resiliency of the board, the willingness of the council and our county commissioners to see a need for this and to allow us the opportunity as community members to stand this up in the spirit of transparency and accountability. And it's really with great pride that we have brought contributors back into the fold that left this arena so many years ago and said, I don't have confidence where this money's going. I don't know where it's going. We've moved everything into electronic format. Everything's run through QuickBooks. We have all of our documents, all of our board minutes, all of our statements, everything is in electronic fashion. And I'm one of those strange individuals that welcomes an audit, that begs for a review, that appreciates someone coming in and saying, you're doing this right, you can do this better, how can we improve? When you got a clean shop, you never worry about audits, you never worry about a review. And we are at the tail end of our first review. We've only gone through 2 full calendar years of the board, and we just have minor tweaks. And some of those tweaks have to do with moving to an electronic format, tying an invoice to a PO. It's all there. It just was over in this bucket and it needed to be combined. And so that's something we're really proud of, given the task that we took on, where it was just a battle, this council, really to get anything back. There was not a PO process. There was not just a basic inventory process. You couldn't get a list of inventory. All of that now, we've adopted a software program that the chief discovered, presented to the board. We adopted that. All inventory is now electronic. We've got the years, we've got the dates on it. We have its maintenance regimen. we just have a really good machine that we'll continue to improve on. One thing about establishing transparency and accountability, you don't fix it, forget it. And it's something that we maintain a diligence towards on a daily basis. The communication is there, the chief has great communication. When Geo has a request, we want to turn that around as quickly as possible and make sure that the interest and the curiosity, the questions of this council is held at the utmost importance. And we will continue to reinforce that to whatever degree we need to, that supports your investment and your confidence this board. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. But I'll tell you what, it is an honor to not only represent this community, this county, but also to support the professionals that are committing their time to the safety and security of this community. We have a sound group of professionals. Chief has built camaraderie. He's got great leadership within this and all through the ranks. The training is there. You can see that in the report. The community awareness is there. This is working, folks. It's working and it's just going to get better. And so that's something that as a community member, it's an honor to be a part of and certainly proud of what we're accomplishing.
Well, Rusty, I want to thank you very much for your service and your dedication to the community, to the Emergency Services Board. We are very fortunate to have you on there. And all the, they are incredible. With you at the helm, I mean, I know this is being done right, things are transparent. And with the chief there running the department, as I told him, there's a big change from before this was all set up, and it's because of the hard work of you and the board and of you, chief, and the firefighters. So thank you.
Well, we certainly credit the chief and those firefighters indeed. We are an instrument to help them along. So proud to do so. And thank you all so much.
Councilmember Portillo,
Thank you.
Councilmember Martinez,
There is no word to express of gratitude for all what you do, guys, and doing for community. All the time, those you know, you sacrifice a lot of the time to do them for that community, so we appreciate it.
Councilmember Lucas, Councilmember Escobedo.
Well, thank you very much. You know, social media does a lot and I see it all the time. It's, you know, we're doing a great job. Outstanding. Thank you.
Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Rusty.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here this evening. All right. Moving on to information and discussion items. Item A belongs to the interim city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A is discuss updates to the Skyway Gardens 2 water system improvement project, including a recommended change to the project design approach related to pressure plane boundaries, pump station coordination, and water service delivery, and review the proposed path forward to address newly identified system constraints and project timing considerations. Alrighty, so in the technical memo included in the city council packet, the main change being recommended is a revised pressure plane approach for the Skyway Gardens 2 project to address newly identified system constraints and ensure reliable water service delivery for the development. At a high level, the recommendation is to adjust the upper hill pressure plane boundary and use valve closures to better separate the upper hill and lower hill pressure planes, and rather than relying on the existing configuration. So this approach, it does include coordinating operation of the East Booster pump station and clarifying which lines will remain in the lower hill pressure plane versus the solid pressure plane. So additionally, you'll see that the memo highlights the difference in overflow elevations between the lower hill tank and the upper hill tank, and it's at approximately 143 feet, about 45 PSI. Reinforces the need for pressure management of the system is refined. The feasibility work also noted that pressure monitoring is recommended in the solid rocks area and that pressure reducing valve may be deploying pressure depending on final conditions. Overall, these recommended adjustments are intended to keep the project moving forward. They have been recommended by staff and they are recommended by the engineers. Due to, time constraints with the project, the engineers did reach out to a few council members just to kind of get an idea. And I advised them that I would put it on the agenda as a discussion, but really it's more we need to move forward. We all feel that this is the best approach. And we wanted to get it in front of council to discuss in case the council doesn't agree. Unfortunately, Andy couldn't be here this evening, which is why he provided that memo, and I told him that I would follow up with you all about that. And we do have both Kira McDaniels here and Mike Macias.
Come on up. Thank you. So Gio, I received the email, the rest of council received the email.
They reached out to just a few, just to see if maybe they can get an idea, but
And I'm trying to remember that email came before the holidays. That's
a while.
there an increase in cost because they're talking about updating the booster pump station, correct? The one that hasn't been working, this mothballed for
as
years.
part of, that would be a critical part of this.
So we would have to do that. Had they already evaluated that station?
They are currently in the process of doing that, I met me, the new city manager, Henry, and, the director of utilities, and the assistant director, and Blake, the foreman, all met. We're gonna be today on a Zoom call, just to kind of go over. That is necessary, but there are steps that we're going to take on our end, I'm not mistaken, for them to identify if the plan is gonna be fully viable, but from what we're seeing, we're waiting on Blake and the utilities team to have the time to dedicate to it, being that they're so overwhelmed with all of their responsibilities, plus they're short staffed right now. However, we believe that it's gonna be a viable option. We do need to do some in-house research to check everything before we can move forward.
So how long will this delay the project, or are we on schedule still?
So we did have that discussion today, and he's saying, depending on how fast the utilities team can get us the information they need, it may delay the project. We don't believe that it would be significant delay at this point, but it's gonna be a tight schedule. So, the engineer did relate to the utilities team, like, we're on a tight schedule, so just keep that in mind. And if we don't get the information we need too long, it might delay it. So they asked me, how do you think the developer would take it? And the developer's been nothing but, willing to work with us.
So he's updated.
Not yet, but I said, as soon as we know, we need to follow up with the developer, because I think they're going to continue that, effort to just work with us as long as we keep the communication with them.
In my notes, I have down that we thought it would be about $100,000 to fix that booster pump station. Is that still the thoughts?
I wasn't aware that there was an additional cost. Did he convey that to you? Mike?
No, Mike Macias, Utilities Director. No, I wasn't aware of that. You heard that was gonna be 100.
That was in a workshop that we had with them. They were talking about $900,000 for the Skyway project. And that one of the things we needed to look at was trying to unmothball that booster pump station. And they estimated that would be about $100,000. And then there were some other things like the Pearson tank clay valves we talked about in that meeting.
Right.
And developing new wells.
Yes, ma'am. I know that, since we are shorthanded, we may have to, if we wanted to kind of move it along, we might have to get contractors to expose that. I know Andy was discussing getting that the lines exposed at the booster pump. And so if we're gonna do that, we probably have to get a contractor to do that. I know that was one of his major concerns, trying to get that, so he can put his eyes on it and kind of go from there.
Councilmember Rufus? You're our plumbing expert.
Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on this plan?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think, and you're gonna have to forgive me, right? I'm still kind of learning on this, but I think, after a while, there's so many things going on and so many, I think, trying to find solutions for it. I just don't know that this is the right way to go about it. I don't believe it's gonna work. I don't know if we need to put another well somewhere else on the west side. I don't know how, I don't have definitive answers. I just know that it doesn't seem like it's gonna work. This whole the idea that Jacob has, I don't know if you all feel the same way, or
I'm gonna defer to our plumber.
Yeah, okay, so
okay.
definitely not an engineer, but I am a third generation plumber. I've been around this and doing it and involved with it for almost 20 years of my life now. And so I feel like I have a little bit that kind of weighs into this. And then I have enough experience with people that have done things with this infrastructure over here that have told me how it's gone. So I got to read exactly what y'all got to read, and I was just like, this is very wave toppy, and I'm not liking the way that I feel like this could go. And so I reached out with Mike, and he showed me what they were actually getting to look at. And in theory, it looks like it could work potentially, right? Except for we know, like, having actual experience with this infrastructure, I'm with Mike and I'm also with Blake. We don't think that it's gonna work. So we're looking at, we did the math. It's actually, it's just under 62 PSI difference from one tank to the next tank. So we're looking at roughly 60 PSI on our higher ends over here in our pressure tank or pressure zone. And we're gonna now double that in certain areas, right? And so we're gonna start blowing everything apart in this. It's majority AC pipe, which is asbestos concrete. And it's not strong. Mike, how much of it are you freaking running around ragged fixing right now?
That's all we do all week, on a weekly basis.
And so all we're gonna do is put a more, or in my opinion, right, put more strain on him and his limited team right now by stressing a system that I don't think we should stress. I really like the first idea where we were gonna isolate that 643 odd caps, if I'm not mistaken. With this over here, I'm not in favor with increasing that entire pressure zone whatsoever at all. And I'm also not in favor with us using our west side pressure zone to supplement that. And that's if we can get this pump, in this, may I add, this whole thing revolves on getting that pump fixed. If we don't get that pump fixed, none of the rest of this matters. We're not gonna have any water to send over there. Our west side is already hurting.
Right, I spoke with Toby, Avery, and, he's trying to head all the SCADA systems and, trying to get him contracted with that, and he called me this morning and he said that panel at that booster pump is just so antiquated and the parts have been so, it has been running for 10 years, I think it ran just, y'all know. And so he says he's gotta probably be, everything's gotta be scrapped and just starting from ground zero, so it's gonna be a.
It's been a booster pump over here, Mike.
The one that we got exposed, the one at the,
Over here.
yes, so he called me this morning and told me everything's kind of old, and some of the parts you can't even order anymore, so.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to start from scratch.
Yeah, and so. I feel like there's a lot of facets that are gonna go into this, and there's just too many holes in it already. That I think, and it's not like we have a whole lot of facets to put things into, right now for this whole ordeal. Just me and my professional opinion, I really don't feel comfortable with going this direction. I think there's maybe some other things that we could discuss. And I know we had gentlemen over here talked about allowing us to put a tank over here. We have a 6-inch main already cut across underneath 118 to right there, so it'd be a matter of figuring out how to pressurize that zone enough to get water up to that tank, and then we can gravity feed it just like we already do with our 2 pressure zones, right? And so we're looking at booster pumps over there and the tank, and we micro pressure zone all isolated by itself. There's 643 caps and not jeopardize any of our other aging infrastructure over there on that southeast side of town. Just my opinion, right? I'm not an engineer by any means, and I didn't really get to spend too much time.
So the engineers did request feedback from the department, and they did mention some of the concerns, but I don't think that they know, you know what I mean? That it's
Right,
to
right.
that level. So would you mind maybe, talking to them or maybe
I mean,
relaying your
I'm
thoughts by,
for
because he's completely willing to go a different direction. He just needs to know where to go. It's on such a tight schedule, which,
Right.
The whole situation. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I can definitely, we can reach out to the engineers and let them know
That'd be
to halt everything. But I think we need to kind of power out exactly what kind of way we're moving, because initially this whole transition happened because of staff concern. They told Jacob Martin, we're concerned about this, and then the engineers were like, oh yeah, I can see why you'd be concerned about that, let's change it up. So I think if we come back to them, we can easily get it modified.
For sure. That'd be awesome. How do you feel about that, Mike?
I do, I love it, I think it's a great idea.
Is there, you have any objections with it being y'all, Mike, and Blake as well? Blake's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to where all these valves are and whatever kind of infrastructure material we're actually looking like in these areas and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we bring them down and let's go out in the field.
Okay. Absolutely.
I know they were tentatively speaking, talking about coming on the first week of, I think February 3rd or 4th, they wanted to come down as well. So I don't know if we wanted to kind of schedule something there as well. I'll reach out to Andy sometime tomorrow and kind of draw a baseline on that, but, he wants to come in the first part of the year.
Councilmember Patia?
I agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
Not lumber,
Yeah.
but, you know, makes sense,
Uh-huh.
what, you know, Rob, Councilman was saying, you know, so. I mean, these guys are the ones out there working, and I understand, I mean, they're always battling something.
Mhm.
And I mean, it just makes sense, why are we gonna add more pressure to what's already there, if we're already having problems, I mean, it's just common sense, right? So. I leave it there.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yeah, I'm with Rob as well. Having invested a lot in R&D, I always heard about something called unobtainium. And the engineer said, here's our plan, and he's how you gonna do that? Well, we're still trying to figure it out. And what caused me some concern is when they learned, after they spoke with us, that Saw Ross is on 1 meter. And therefore, we gotta change all of the plans. I'm thinking, oh, this would be something I would have thought Jake and Mark would have figured out. So I'm a little bit miffed at Andy and his team for not kind of doing all their homework before they came to us with a recommended plan. So I'm with you. There's lots to go get sorted out. Although I hate to say, I would rather, well, it's always, let's do it right. Let's go figure it out. And I understand the issues with Skyway Gardens. But we do not want to have what people keep reporting to me happen, when they put that upper hill, lower hill pump in, started blowing out all the toilets on the south side of town. And when you start putting pressures on, to your point, you start getting above 60 PSI, you really start pulling things up. And boy, that's not really helpful. So I can back off, let's go come with a plan. And my view is key as supposed to.
Councilmember Escobedo?
I agree with Robert and what's going on, and hopefully you get a report, cause I do get a lot of people asking me what's going on with phase 2, or if I haven't, said anything or reported anything or get us up to date. But I guess after this meeting, we'll get a better knowledge of what's going on. You know, and maybe what the cost would be, at least an estimate, something.
And so I will note that in the current memo, it does say that they didn't expect a significant deviation from the original cost. And so that they weren't seeking any additional funding or anything at this time.
Good, and that helps.
Councilmember Martinez?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know much about plumber, but just common sense, Robert is expertise, and I agree. And especially I worry about Mike, that he's so stressed and we don't want to lose him. So working with him, give him options and solutions, you know, so he won't feel so stressed out. Mike is new, so he is like all of us new learning, and then he's under a lot of pressure right now. So I'm glad that those who they know work with him to find solutions, so he can stay with one division.
Hang in there.
Let's go. It works.
Yes.
Good luck.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to information discussion, item B, interim city manager.
Alrighty, item D is finance report, October 2025, November 2025, and December 2025, read only and extended by Victoria Sanchez, Director of Finance. And I do invite Victoria to the podium to address the council on these reports. Copy of which are included in your black folder this evening.
Victoria Sanchez, Director of Finance. I did listen with our visiting manager, and we agreed that we will be submitting the quarterly report instead of the monthly statement. But for starters, this was something that was requested at the last meeting. And we are, of course, in the middle of still working with 3 years. And part of the data in here include any revenues or expenditures that I still need to reverse out and place into the prior year. I believe it's taking care of most of the expenditures, part of the revenues I'm still working on. The other area that I would like to point out is on the revenue section for the wastewater collections, as well as the gas utility. It is significantly lower in this report for 2 reasons. One, the transition with the utility billing.
as you know, we've been behind with the billing system. So our revenues are behind as compared to last fiscal year. And the other is that we did set up a utility billing checking account, which is going to be more of a clearing account. And so until we have all of our system issues up to date, we are going to then look at everything that has been deposited into that checking account and then allocate those funds to each system. So currently what you have in those two funds are the recordings of the interest earnings. What we have separate in the utility clearing account, the checking account itself, as of December 31st is $839,000. And so as soon as we do receive the final report, because I know that I just received a report today from the utility department that includes our sales tax payment to the comptroller's office. And this is for December. So there was no way that I'd be able to get the data with plenty of time to make that allocation. The other thing I did want to compare is how much do we currently have in that checking account, which is pretty much how much have we collected as of December 31st. Once again, $839,000. Prior year, we had gas of $413,000, water, wastewater, sanitation, $1.3 million. So of course, the comparison is less as compared to last year. Reason being, we are behind in our billing and our collection. And so within the next month or two, we should be able to catch it. And so that is something that we are working on. We're going to have to reconcile. We have the transition of prior year collections reports, some of it merging into this new fiscal year, and then transferring to the new system. So that is where looking at having to reconcile all of that. The other increase that we did have, and I didn't finish my research on that, the airport revenues did increase slightly, and of course it's because of the fuels with the military. And other than that, the others are pretty much your expenditures and revenues that have taken place within these past 3 months. And they also will probably have a few adjustments, but I want to say that most of them have been taken care of. And this is just for information purpose. And so we should have something a bit more updated and current with everything that we need to do.
Okay, good.
Councilmember Martinez?
No, I don't have questions. I just know you're working really hard to keep us updating, and I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here tonight. Working extra hours.
Of course. Always. I see her here late all the time. Councilmember Escobedo?
No, you're doing good, from where you started. And what we didn't expect, so you're on a good trail, I like what you're doing.
Okay, Councilmember Lucas? I see you looking really hard.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm just following on what she's been. I don't have anything right now. Thank you so much for all your hard work. And everything goes unnoticed.
Councilmember Stevens?
One of the things that would help us a lot, Tori, just get the stuff to us sooner. It's really hard to come to a city council meeting, and I spent the break kind of going through the numbers. Otherwise, if you don't have it, just wait till next time around.
And thank you very much for bringing that up, because I'm in agreement with you. I think the timelines between when our month closes and by the time that the agenda item and exhibits are due. Oh my goodness, that's just doesn't give me plenty of time to do my closing entries and provide it with ample time, because I understand you need that. You know, so I will definitely hold you to that, because I feel that we would have a bit more information to work with, and we see as well.
Yeah, because from a council standpoint, I think most of us are looking for deviations, a little big numbers or the others. In listening to your presentation this evening, I heard what you had in your holding account, plus I added in what you've got from interest. Rick Stevens' rough calculation says
wastewater, or water and wastewater funds and gas funds. We're driving roughly $1.2 million against a budget of about $1.1 million. Which hardens, gives me good thoughts because it says you probably brought in $100,000 more than your expenditures were, which is always revenue greater expenditures, right thing, but my view, make sure you get the time to go work it before, because that always helps you, pressure off you, and helps us in our event. That will help us.
Definitely. And especially working with the 3 years simultaneously.
Yeah, I know.
I took that extra time to be able to prepare the report for you.
Absolutely. And it helps us if we need the time to actually sit, go through it. That would be perfect. Councilmember Portillo?
No, other than, thank you, you're doing a good job. You know,
And
we tell you all the time. We get it.
And appreciate your all's support and understanding. And I have to say that I am extremely excited that Mr. Arredondo has joined us and his knowledge. Our conversation today just really it put me at ease.
Good.
Because he understands our situations and is already looking at manners into which he's going to help us get caught up a little bit faster, because we definitely need to make the timelines and have everything within the year. So we're headed in the right direction, I think even a little bit sooner than that was planned, so it's going well.
You're gonna be a great team.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, item C has been removed, so moving on to item B, interim city manager.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so it's the last, 11D, right? Yes, okay, to discuss potential city participation in hosting in 2026 Governor's Small Business Summit in Alpine, including coordinating with Richard County, Colorado State University, and local partners. Reviews partners' responsibilities outlined by the governor's office, consider potential dates, topics, and venue options with provide the upcoming department, and anticipate city involvement or expenditures related to the issues. Alright, so on this one, Judge Hennington and the mayor have been in conversation about hosting the, an event here. In the upcoming year, it would be later on during the year, because not a specific date hasn't been identified just yet. But essentially, the governor's office is asking who can contribute to make the event successful. And really the question is the city interested in participating and particularly funding or helping to fund parts of the event, like food costs and things of that. So I did include the emails in your packet as they're put in there as well, just so you all can see kind of the background on where we're at right now. And additionally, I did include items from the Small Business Summit of the Governor's Office as well.
Good. Okay, so the judge sent an email to myself, to Carlos Hernandez with Sewell Ross State University, to Chris Ruggia, and I believe that was it. And he told us that he had applied for this governor's conference on economic development, small business development, and that we had actually been selected. So he was sending us an email to ask if we would partner with him, if they need the help, in order to make this effective. The judge in the email, when he sent that to us, included the handout that you see on page 139 of 179. So there are certain things the state will pay for. There's certain things the state will not pay for. And so the judge is asking us if we can provide the continental breakfast for this event. Visit Big Ben is going to sponsor the lunch. The judge had to apply for dates for this event, and that opened up, I think, on January 6th, in which he submitted 3 dates that he would like to host it. So he cleared it with Sewell Ross because he asked if we could use their campus to host the event, and Carlos was very excited and said, of course. So the dates that have been applied for, and we don't know which one is going to be accepted yet, are September 17th, October 1st, and October 15th. So those are the dates the judge applied for, and we're just waiting to see what that will be. So from the judge and the state, what they said is that there'd be approximately 300 attendees. And that's where they're asking for the city to provide a continental breakfast for them. The judge is gonna reach out to surrounding communities to see if they are interested in attending, Fort Davis, Marfa, Marathon, down south, Studi Butte, Terlingua, Lajitas, Presidio. And I believe that was about it. There's a couple of more emails that have passed between us that aren't in this to give you more information about it. But that's his ask of the city, is if we'd be willing to do that. So I just wanted to open it up to discussion to council to see where your thoughts are for helping him out and working on this. It's a great honor. And so information from the state is there about the summit and what all it involves and a web page, and it's a big event. So, Councilmember Portillo. Councilmember Martinez.
I read all the information. I think it's a great opportunity. My question, for those 300, it will be, from the budget, or it will be from, discretionary,
I don't know what the cost would be, so I don't know what the estimated cost would be for a continental breakfast. Henry, do you have any idea? Or maybe 300, I don't know how many attendees we will have. The state estimates 300.
300 for a continental breakfast, I'd say no more than $10 per person. And 30,000.
3,000.
The return that you're gonna get, because I've seen videos of previous events like this, and they go and they showcase you, and they show other communities that have put this together, and you have with Sol Ross.
Let me remind you to please be quiet in the audience. Sorry, continue.
You have Sol Ross helping, and the county, and of course the city. And you'll be able to put on a really great event, and they'll blow it out in the whole city.
So it's an opportunity to maybe increase tourism.
You could.
Yeah, and then of course economic development. Yeah.
So the gym.
Well, I just going through and saying, between hotel occupancy tax and sales tax, if the city put in the money, we more than get it back in return on those. So it's gonna do some of that.
Councilmember Rufus.
I'm game with it. I was just gonna ask that, if we even discussed like who we would have do the catering for it and what kind of bill we were looking at having done covered.
Nope, initial step to find out if we want to do it.
I mean, I'm game with it. Let's figure out who we want to do it and what it's gonna cost.
If it's Sol Ross got our mark, they'll do it.
I was gonna say, look at our mark.
Yeah, I'm sure Carlos will throw some money in for it.
Councilmember Escobedo.
That's a great opportunity.
No, all right. So City Secretary, what's the next step?
At this point, I think we would just need to determine where the funds come from, go moving forward and work with our partners to determine how much we're going to need to pay. And
And will we need a resolution or an action item, or what do we need?
that's a good question.
That would be the next item. You're giving us direction to, find the funds, so that the council can commit to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I'll go half the break.
You don't need a resolution.
Yep.
Okay,
We can do it that way. Yes, we can do it out of somebody's discretionary funds, so.
okay, great. All right, so I'll let the judge know that city council approved this and we're gonna move forward.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, moving on to information and discussion item E, city or interim city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item E is process and timeline to consider proposed amendments to the City of Alpine Home Rule Charter for submission to the voters of November 3rd, 2026, in the form of elected date. We have discussed this a couple of times now, and we did agree to have this as a standing item on the agenda. I did take all of the feedback that I have received from council, any feedback that we've had as far as administration is concerned. Really, the only one that we recommended, I believe, is the ordinance updates. Oh, and I had another recommendation as far as updating either updating the charter language for the city manager to be the chief executive officer, or we'll have to make ordinance updates to go back and designate them as the records management official and things of that nature. It's really just a nuanced problem that, we learned during the process to try to, write a policy for record management. There's a portion in the public, I believe it's in the public information, with the public information that designates the chief administrative officer as the person who's in charge of records, so although it's typically the city secretary, we need to change one or the other. If we could keep the charter language the same, but we would need to designate the city manager, if our charter says the chief administrative and chief executive officer. So I kind of, provide some background in there on that. I had a couple of council members also, provide some feedback, and I included some changes in there. But if you have any, feedback on the changes, please let me know. It's really just to get the discussion going, but the council to provide direction as to what we want to see go to the voters.
Okay, so.
And additionally, I'll mention that I did advise you all last time that there is a section 3.01. There is a mismatch from the item that was changing the size of office, and, that needs to be corrected as well. Also, council members had previously advised me that we should remove the indefinite term from the city managers.
Right,
And, we were advised that that would probably make the contract writing a bit easier as well.
okay.
So that is in there, and it was in there, the proposed amendment. I had two council members request that we make it to where the city secretary serves at the pleasure of the council. And, that's in there as well, if y'all want to see that go forward. But this is just, like I said, a very, preliminary draft on anything that you all told me so far. And we can move forward with any of those, or, not move forward with them.
When do you want to have all this by?
I don't really have a particular date as to have it by. There
I
have
know
been,
it's time.
there have been a lot of meetings in the last process where we went, item by item. I think we might have had a workshop for that, but, so that might be a good idea to have a workshop. If you all can just, give me some feedback in the next month or so, I think that'd be great. I think that'll give us enough time to get the wheel moving. I just have put together what I have so far,
Right.
and you can let me know if there's anything.
So you said that they reached out to you that the city secretary serves at the pleasure of the council. I believe that's already in the charter, that the city secretary is hired
Yeah.
by the council. So. with the-
Well, no, it's because y'all specifically wanted the city secretary, two people to report directly to the city council.
Right, instead of to the city manager. Yes,
And-
I was.
And it would follow model, similar to San Antonio, and there's a couple other cities that are similar to it.
I mean, it just makes sense when you look at the flow chart of,
Mm,
because
it
the
was
city
just a
secretary
different-
hired.
So I did the research, and I found a few cities that do it that way,
Okay.
so it's definitely an option.
Mhm. I think it's
It's a
because there's a
hybrid, it's a hybrid.
confusion, yeah, of how the city flow charts drawn somewhere in there. It said the city secretary reports to the city manager, however, the council hires and fires the city secretary. So we just wanted to
It's
clarify.
really
that.
like more of a hybrid approach, because a lot of cities do that as well, where the city secretary can only be hired and terminated by the city council, but still reports to the administrative city manager. Unlike a few specific cities, like San Antonio is one of them, where the city secretary does not report to the city manager, but all of the direct reports do. Or whatever.
Okay. So does anybody, Councilmember Patillo, did you have any comments on what is listed here that Geo has started keeping a running record of? Did you, have you had a chance to go through the charter and think of your own things you want to change? And thank you for providing us a new copy
You're welcome.
of the charter. So everybody should have a copy. Yes.
No, I mean, like I said, having workshops and we having a workshop over this, going over some old things that we need, but I mean, I'm good with whatever we all decide to do.
Councilmember Martinez?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I agree the same thing there, but we discussed most of these issues before, so it's kind of like clarifying. So, and according to your experience, what they have done before?
That's what the city, the city secretary is hired by the city council and reports to the city council. Also the attorney that's reports to the city council. That way, like, you can't get the city manager manipulating elections, but you've got that separation of function and that's kind of how it's,
Okay.
for the records and contracts, not going to manipulate or, that gives, the city secretary that kind of like,
So you were wanting to put that
That's
in
separation.
the city charter.
I just had the recommendation from the two council members, so I did, the research and.
For the
Whether
records.
if you all would want to move forward with that, but there are cities that have all three different ways. Some cities, they only report to the city manager and higher post manager as well.
Oh, I was referring to the records.
So the records one, yes, on that one, we really need to determine if we just strike the chief administrative out of there and leave it as chief executive officer, so it has the same authority.
Okay.
But it would allow us to move forward with the common practice of appointing the city secretary as the person who is in charge of the record.
Right.
Alternatively, we can leave it the same, but we're gonna have to update ordinances, we're gonna have to reach out to T-Slack and let them know that the city manager is the one in charge, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, it would streamline things to change that language, is do that strikeout.
I agree. Councilmember Ricketts?
Can get mine over to you in like 2 weeks, because,
Okay, fantastic, absolutely.
Councilmember Escobedo?
I will send him what I need to do. My will actually be on the terms of council, because I like consistency, that's just the way I am. I would like for the city council to kind of mirror what the commissioners, terms on.
We do have to keep in mind that doing so, we have already had like a big transitionary period with the current term, so y'all are already holding over. We really have to kind of study how that kind of change would impact those current holdovers.
Yeah, that could get tricky.
Sure, it's not impossible.
Councilmember Stevens?
I've been through it, look forward to the workshop.
Okay. So really what we need to do is just provide Gio with what changes we want to make, so he can have them for the workshop, then we can discuss them and see if because ultimately what happens, for those of you who are new, didn't go through this process before, is council's gonna have to approve by majority vote each of the propositions that we're gonna put on the ballot. They have to be written in a specific legal jargon, and then they're sent to the state for approval and before they can put on the ballot. So now is the appropriate time. If you look at the timeline from when this was done before, it started with the discussion on October 17th, 2023, almost a year before the election, and then it went on through until August 6th of 2024, when it was able to be, it got the stamp that can be on the election on November 5th. So you can see it took quite a while. So,
And per you all request, I do have it added currently in the standing agenda item, but we can modify that if needed, just let me know.
okay, let's go ahead and set that workshop.
Okay.
Okay, next
So
available date.
the next available date would be the first meeting in March, which is the third.
The 3rd, okay, March. All right. And so we will call this charter amendments. Okay,
And do you want me to keep the standing items on the agenda for you all? Or do you think we should?
let's just wait till March 3rd and then we'll decide.
Okay, so I'll put them off for the 2 meetings in February.
Right.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
And do you think that, I'll receive feedback from most of you all, and I think that gives enough time to receive feedback and then have those included for the workshop.
And so I just made a note that I should have mine to you by the 11th of February. You want it sooner than that?
Let's see, just to make sure that I can get it in the packet, yes, the packet deadline for the meetings the 19th to 11 will give me a week to kind of make sure it's all put in a uniform document. Okay, that'd be perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
right, perfect, okay. Okay, so moving on. Okay, discussion.
When did you want those?
The 11th of February would be perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have time to mark that down? All right, moving on to information and discussion, item F, this is interim city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item F was a presentation by Adri Orlean, Public Works Administrative Assistant regarding the in-house flood mitigation act or plan, sorry, for fiscal year 2026-2028. Adri could not be here this evening, so we can reschedule this one if you'd like. I think really the actual plan is included in your package. And if you have any questions, you can let us know, but he was not able to.
Okay. So council, do you want this rescheduled or are we good? Councilmember Stevens?
I'm good with it because it's a good plan from the city standpoint. I think the one item that's related to flood, but it's really about floodplain. After Henry gets up to speed on comes into on what we need to do to try and get our floodplain updated in the city hall. Okay. That's all.
Has been updated a long time.
Yep. Save residents a lot of money,
Mhm.
$200,000.
Okay, and that, might be interesting for council to hear that, maybe report back on it.
Yeah.
Just a little discussion item,
Yeah.
y'all meet, okay.
So do you all think there's gonna be a need to re-add it to the agenda? I can let her know that they saw the plan and they're fully.
I don't think that she needs to worry about it. If Councilmember Stevens and Mr. Ardondo are gonna get together and discuss what we can do about updating the floodplains for residents and then put that on the agenda.
That'd be good.
Okay, so that council can hear it. Cause I know I have constituents, my street's listed as,
So I know you're putting your.
I am. Yes, so I would really like that map. If they- So I know my neighbors do too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you don't, the good news is you don't need a canoe.
Yeah,
But
right.
right now, the church company thinks you do.
They do,
Yeah.
yes, they do. So that'd be perfect. So Adrian is good.
Yes.
Okay. All right, moving on to information discussion item G, Councilmember Escobedo.
To discuss and consider clarification of resolution 2025-02-01 regarding the term of the city's sponsorship approval for Mountain Country Christmas Bazaar, including a review of the February 4th, 2025 agenda language, resolution caption, and operative resolution language referencing the 2025 and 2026 event years, and determine whether any corrective or rectifying action is necessary. So I brought this up because it was brought to my attention. When we discussed this and the intention that I saw was that we were gonna not give a nonprofit 2 years. You know, they were gonna come after 2025, that we looked who was gonna be the Mountain Country Christmas that year, last year, right? And that the following year, people were gonna apply. I have heard the city council meeting, over and over, so that was my thing there.
Okay.
Otherwise, if it would have been for the 2 years, I would have not. I mean, if it would have, I would be on the corner.
I included information in your packet about that. The item was presented by the previous city manager, they wanted to begin this stay for a period of 2 years. But there was a typo in the resolution caption that says 1 year. But the operative language, which is basically like an ordaining clause of an ordinance that implements what council's direction it listed 2 years instead for 2025, 2026. So, I've added the resolution there for you all to review. If y'all want to make any changes, we're welcome to make a change. But I think the way as written, it would just, it should be there for the Alpine Humane Society.
Okay, so you're looking at the Alpine Humane Society. 5 and 2026, and then council and 2027, whoever's on council will make a decision based on applications.
We already have a plan for that year to have that item on the agenda. We would have added it this year if the resolution wasn't for 2 years.
Right.
But the last 2 times they approved it for 2 years. So the last time the Women's Club had it, it was be approved as well.
How long did the Women's Club have it?
Well, there was a period of time where they had it for a long time, I believe. Gary is here, but he could answer.
Did the Women's Club have it, Jerry?
Off and on for 18 years.
Oh.
And it was every 2 years.
Okay,
But historically, it was always the city awarding it to a nonprofit event. I think for a while though, there was a long period of time. I'd have to research, but I think it was 6 years. Maybe Councilor Stevens didn't take me back, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall the year exactly. I think there was a period of time where we didn't really do the award process for.
well, I don't see a problem with awarding it every 2 years. It takes it off council's agenda for every year. Yeah. So the resolution said 2025, 2026, the Humane Society would have it.
Yes, it would be the second year, and we'd open up the application process again, and early next year, it would be January, February, timeframe.
Councilor Patillo, Councilor Martinez,
I think that, yeah, every 2 years is okay.
Councilor Lucas, Councilmember Stevens.
I get Lucy's issue because the thought says her term of 1 year, but to Gio's point, the resolution be it resolved 2025, 2026. We gotta abide by that because that's the operative words and we got planning forward for 2027.
Okay, so what do we need to do, Gio? Does this need to be corrected? Nothing? Okay.
We just wanted to make sure if you did want to make a change, you know, we could make that happen with it. It sounds like we ain't gonna keep it soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are no action items, and before we go into executive reports, we're gonna take a short 5-minute break at 7:35 p.m. Absolutely. We're back. So action item was moved to the beginning of the agenda, so there are no action items. We're moving on to the executive report. And tonight, I just wanted to remind council and everyone of the importance of these town hall meetings that are coming up, starting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Civic Center. I've spoken to probably about 300 people, and if half of them come who say they are, we probably will have a turnout of at least 150 people. So I just wanted to reiterate with our interim city manager, I know that you have training you're going to, but just the importance of having the Civic Center set up with enough chairs, and then a table at the front for the task force projector. Do we have a laptop?
It's all set up there so far.
Okay, so,
The only thing we're pending is the chairs, and we have a work order for the chairs to be moved in tomorrow.
okay, great. And then a microphone, because there's about a 30 to 40 minute discussion section.
I also have able to set everything up. He's the
You got it.
the pro there.
There's one.
So he agreed he would be doing that.
That's,
Okay, so that way we can call members of the audience up to ask questions. The task force will need a microphone, and then we have sign-in sheets. Hopefully a table at the front with various sign-in sheets so that there's not too much of a bottleneck.
Alex has already done all of that.
Okay, so the task force
I tried.
meetings tomorrow, 6 p.m. Civic Center. Sewell Ross, Monday, the 26th, upstairs University Center. And then Saturday, the 31st at Marathon, their Civic or Rec Center. I'm not quite sure what it is or where it's located, but I'm sure we will be able to locate it. Councilmember Stevens?
I'm not supposed to ask you a question, so I'll ask Alex, if we publish the document that city council members will be there at 8:00.
No, we haven't. We usually do post a notice of possible forum. I mean, it's really a gray area under FOMA, whether or not it's necessary. But we usually do it just out of abundance of caution.
I would do it given the subject we're talking about because this council will eventually consider it, so I apologize.
Probably a good idea, just to be safe.
We can make sure that all of them are going to be published for that's it.
Sorry, Mayor.
No worries. All right, city manager report.
I did not prepare a report this evening. I did spend a lot of last week preparing for our new city manager. Just I gave him a wealth of information today. I'm sure he has some reading material to go home and tell you. And, we don't have anything this evening, but I'm sure it's not going to be for it.
Awesome. Okay, city council member comments. Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Mayor. Henry, welcome. Thank you. Glad you're on board. You got a great team. Look forward to working with you.
We appreciate it.
Councilmember Escobedo. Councilmember Lucas.
Welcome. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And
Likewise.
learn a lot from you. Yeah.
Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you. You know how happy and appreciative we are to have you here and join us and meet your family and just welcome back because this is like your home. And your home. So I cannot wait to meet your wife, so we can invite all the meetings that Mayor now we have, you know, the moms that we are. Get her involved in the community.
Councilmember Patia.
Now, I've already told you, thank you, you know, it means a lot to us, to you to come down, do have a great team, you know, around you. All them, you got plenty of resources to have us, and we'll realize, I mean, you understand Alpine is a very welcoming community. You know, a lot of friendly people. So thank you and welcome.
I've already welcomed you. I'm very grateful for all of the knowledge, your expertise. I'm thankful that you were here.
Appreciate it. Nice to be here.
All right, so this evening, council does have executive session. I want to make sure the public is aware that the municipal pool update will not happen this evening because Adriana is not here. And I have some information from Sewell Ross that I will give you during that section. Updates from Adriana have been said that they will be a while before she can give us any updates. All right, so with that, this brings us to item number 15, executive session pursuant to chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. City Council reserves the right to convene into executive session from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting for any posted agenda item or to receive advice from the attorney as permitted by law. Tonight, the City Council will recess into executive session pursuant to section 551.071. I'll give you an update regarding Sol Ross and personnel matters 551.074 under Texas Government Code. May I have a motion to move into executive?
There, I'm moving to the executive session.
Okay, any discussion? Let's vote.
Aye.
City Council is moving into executive session at 7:49 PM this evening, City Secretary.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Berg. Bye.
Abel, you might let Elaine know we're in executive session. Both of you, thanks.
ready, or
May I have a motion to move into open session?
I move city council move back into open session.
May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Let's vote. Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary, Council voted unanimously to move back into open session at 8:28 p.m. Do I have any action after executive session?
The city council took no action at executive session.
Okay, I need a second. Any discussion? Let's vote. Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary, Council has taken no action after executive session, and with that, we are adjourned at 8:28 p.m.